Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, sitting here with the man Tyler Merkovich, and this is the 2009 New York Giants NFL team preview. Now, Tyler, the Giants, Big Blue, a lot of confidence, a lot of good defensive players they have, a lot of acquisitions in the offseason. What do you see the Giants doing on offense this year in the NFC East?
11-1 until all hell broke loose last season. Everyone thought it was, the lack of a playmaker, but it was actually the lack of a pass rush. They lost O.C. Umenyiora before the season, but they had a very busy offseason on the defensive side of the ball, and they drafted a lot of guys on offense also.
It all starts with playing in New York. Out here, the biggest thing is Eli Manning. How's he going to do this year?
Well, I think Eli, without Plaxico Burress, he'll still fare well. He won't have the numbers that are the best, but he's a winner. They're going to take care of him. They're going to rush the ball. It's a good mix of a pass and rush, so I think he's going to have a solid year.
Now, that running back situation back there, they had Earth, Wind, and Fire last year. They lose what?
Derek Ward to Tampa.
And they still kept the big guy in Brandon Jacobs, who I like to say called him club security. So he's a big guy. Tell me about that running game this year in 2009.
They had to reward Jacobs, he's the focal point. He made Ward a lot better. Plus, they got a guy, Ahmad Bradshaw, who played seriously well in the Super Bowl win. He's coming on. He was off-season. He went to jail, so he's going to be better than he was last.
Toughness is going to be up. But go ahead.
Absolutely. Andre Brown from North Carolina State they drafted, and Danny Ware also. So they're going to find a nice complement to Jacobs along that offensive line, which starts with David Dia, left tackle. They got Chris Snee, Coughlin's son-in-law. Sean O'Hara, the veteran center, he anchors the line. Rich Seibert, who's been solid. Kareem McKenzie, who's aging, but I like what they did in the draft. And they got William Beatty, second round out of UConn. This guy, he's the heir apparent to McKenzie, and they really needed depth there because I don't want to jinx them, but in the last 2 years, none of these offensive linemen have missed a game, and their first backup was Kevin Booth out of Cornell. So now William Beatty, he's probably going to be their first backup, and hopefully they can stay healthy.
Now, last season, in the beginning part of the season, they had Plaxico Burress. They lose him now. They let him go. How can they, improve on that receiving core as opposed to last year? And what can they do to replace someone of the playing ability as Plaxico Burress?
Well, as they know, he was an absolute beast in that playoff, that Super Bowl run, Plaxico Burress. But Dominic Hickson came on. Steve Smith also. He was the number 3 behind Amani Toomer, who, of course, Eli loved, and he's gone too. But if Steve Smith will step in, he's improving. And they got guys like Mario Manningham, who wants to prove something this year. And they drafted 2 rookies, Hakeem Nicks, who you said hands are very important. This guy's got great hands, good body control, not the greatest speed in the world, but he's going to become huge as a possession guy. They also took a flyer in the 3rd round out of Cal Poly, who was the Conference Player of the Year 2 years in a row, and Ramses Barden, who's a Plaxico Burress look-alike at 6'5", 230-plus pounds. So, it might take him a while, a couple years down the line, but these 2 guys have some promise. Also, you look at Kevin Boss, he's been reliable, but they got Travis Beckham. This guy was one of the best tight ends in college football before his injury, and he fell in the draft. It's unbelievable how we got him. He's going to be a very key influence to Manning's success this year.
And I was able to attend that Cal Poly Wisconsin game last year, and I saw Barden up close. He had about 200 plus some odd yards receiving, made the Wisconsin secondary look foolish. So I was high on him early. That's a great pickup for the Giants. Now with the defense, that's been their beck and call since Tom Coughlin has been there. How's that defense line with the return of Umenyiora? How do they look this year?
Well, Umenyiora comes back, of course. Justin Tuck played end, and Kiwanuka moved from linebacker back to his natural position, D-end. But this is where Jerry Reese makes his bucks right here. He goes out and he loads up on that defense, and they have depth. They got 8 guys who can play defense on a 4-man line. Justin Tuck can play inside and outside. They pick up Rocky Bernard from Seattle. Barry Cofield and Fred Robbins were the defensive tackles last year. They had some surgeries in the offseason, but they're back. Dave Tollefson, another D-end, and of course Kiwi. They also pick up Chris Canty, who also can play inside and outside. So with the versatility and the depth of this defensive line, this is where the Giants will make their mark.
Well, they're going to be fresh all game long with that. And that should keep the pressure off those linebackers. How does that back 3 look?
Well, they pick up Michael Boley. Antonio Pierce, of course, still the leader, aging a little bit. He's suspended one game, by the way, and he's injured right now. But around week 4 or 5, look for him to step up. He's a guy they could use in coverage. Also, Danny Clark, who could hit. He's a big hitter. Chase Blackburn, who's been in the system for a while now. Jarris Wilkinson, who got some time experience last year. Clint Sintum, I love this guy. 2nd round out of UVA. Al Grohl knows how to coach them. Also, their linebackers are solid.
And you look at them in the secondary, which used to be a problem area for the Giants, is now looking as a bit of a strength. What do you see the secondary doing this year for the Giants?
Well, historically, the Giants really haven't had some big names in the secondary, but a guy up and coming who's flying around the field and reports in practice that this guy is going to be a stud. He's coming in out of Miami. Kenny Phillips, they drafted him a couple of years ago, last pick of the 1st round. This guy's coming on. He's going to be a playmaker in the secondary. Michael Johnson also back there. They pick up C.C. Brown as insurance. He's probably going to play safety. He's going to compete with Johnson for the other spot. I like Phillips to definitely start. And on the wings, on the corners, it's Corey Webster, who improved during the year last year. Aaron Ross was a little lethargic last year, and you know, he was a little lost in the system. He was getting beat a couple times, but he's going to be coming on. He's got some promise. He's a young guy. Also, Terrell Thomas, 2nd year out of USC, and Kevin Dockery, who played well.
I like Thomas out of USC. He's a real good physical corner. Special teams. You know you need a special kicker to kick in the swirling winds down there in the Meadowlands. How does their special teams hook up this year? And I know you got Dominic Hickson as the kick returner. He's a good guy. He returned kicks back for a touchdown. How does that special team shape up this year for the Giants?
Well, when it comes to the kicking game, John Carney filled in for injured Lawrence Tyne last year, 35 out of 38. But they let this guy go because Lawrence Tyne's got, you know, that Super Bowl run. He made him happy. He was injured last year. He's got a stronger foot too, so I think they'll be okay there. Jeff Fields, their 22nd year. This guy, all he does, he's the epitome of coffin corner. He could put the punt down there anywhere he wants. And you mentioned Hickson, great return man. He might not get as much. Bradshaw, Sonoris Moss might be back there. So I think their special units team will be okay.
Now, Football Game Plan Studios is located in New York, so be careful with this selection and your prediction. Where do you think the Giants finish this year in the NFC East?
Well, you know, I'm not jinxing them, so that's why I'm not picking them first. But I think they are definitely a wild card winner. They're going to finish 2nd in the NFC East and make a deep run into the playoffs.
And when we get that hate mail, I'm just forward it all to Tyler Merkovich. So that's the Giants 2019 preview. I'm Emory Hunt, sitting here with Tyler Merkovich. To check out more videos of your team, go to footballgameplan.com/NFL.